Nice. All right. Thanks Tim and Marion and Ashton for vamping for so long. Okay. So So where are we here? All right. So this one's a little crazy, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be doing a live mocap shoot. The idea here is we're going to run this through like we would at any mocap shoot you would. We're lucky to have Chris here from Xsens. It's green?
Hello.
All right, awesome.
I'm Chris from Xsens.
Yep. So luckily, they're being awesome and letting us demo their suits. And then also to make it look good, we've got two fantastic actors here.
Hi, my name is Andrew Ray.
I'm Sydney Schwint.
Yeah. So here's going to be the rundown of what we're doing. We're going to give you a little bit of a preamble here of how we would set up for a shoot, the type of stuff to prep, and then we'll actually switch to it. And we've got a shot list that we're going to run through. But in the meantime, start giving suggestions of things you would like to see for us to capture into Twitch chat. We've got moderators that will make sure that nothing you suggest is too terrible. And then at the end of towards the end of the shoot, we'll work that in for that. So first thing we want to go over real quick. So when you're setting up a mocap shoot, you want to figure out a shot list, right? When you have actors, when you have technicians, when you have a space, all that stuff, that time there is incredibly valuable, and you want to get the most bang for your buck. So right here we have the shot list that we're going to be using. I'll put this online later as a template for everyone to see. What we have is a bunch of stuff, and the biggest thing is we've called out the priority on the left side. We've got priority 1, 2, and 3 stuff. Always plan for way more stuff than you think you can actually fill the time with, right? Because there's nothing worse than saying, I still have an hour in this space or with these suits or with these actors, but we don't have anything else that we needed, which means you've just wasted potential, good stuff that you could get. So we've called that out on the left, right? We've got the actor's name. We've got the rig that they'll be using. For this, I just made up a large rig and a small rig. We've got the shot name, which is what the animation would be called, and this is what you'd be working with the technician to say, okay, next shot is this. And then we've got the motion description saying what we kind of want that to be at a high level. Then it's important to call out what the design needs are so that if there are certain metrics that you need to hit for gameplay or for level design, you have that already there for you. The needs that you might have from the animation side, so what poses should it start and end in, things like that to make sure that you're not on the day of the shoot and going, crap, what pose am I supposed to be using here? Calling out props that you'd be using. And then it's nice to put an estimate on how long you think this stuff is going to take, right? So in general, like 20 to 30 seconds is a pretty good thing to imagine per shot. And then in a day, you can maybe get through like 1,500 character seconds is a pretty good long day to dig through. So it gives you a good idea on how much you've filled up a day with. And then we also have a slot on there for reference and for on-set notes so that you can get all that in place. Speaking of reference, if we can bring up the pictures. So for today, we're going to be making a noir buddy cop detective game. A-Ray is going to be Buck. Buck is essentially Mr. Bean, Mr. Magoo, Columbo when he's kind of playing up that silly role. That's going to be A-Ray. Again, super serious noir world with Mr. Magoo. Sydney is going to be Ziggy. And Ziggy is essentially like Leslie Knope or Amy Santiago from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And that's their roles. Now, the more reference you can collect to give your actors up front, the better. Ideally, you would have not just pictures, you'd have models to show them, you'd have videos of either animation tests you've done or maybe film or TV or things like that you think would be really cool to help get them into character. It can be music that they listen to that you think you kind of want them to have in their head. You can never give enough reference for all of you to pull from, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, As an actor, I'd like to get as much stuff as possible. Music became really big recently for me, like finding the song that kind of plays in the character's head as they move.
Yeah.
Has become a way for me to kind of find physicality in the way they stand and just the rhythm of the body as it moves is finding like that right song that kind of matches up with that person.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but any type of concept art, anything like that is like super helpful.
Yeah, and gameplay too, right? Like something that's really cool is when you're often working with the same actors regularly, right? So when you shot something at the last shoot and you've started to implement it in game, even if it's not perfect and it's not pretty yet, right? Like we're all part of the same team. Bring that on your next shoot and say, hey, look at the stuff you did last time. See what it looks like in game now, right? And it builds that idea of like, oh, cool, yeah, I was thinking about this thing, and again, never enough reference. So that's sort of our shtick from our side. Chris, is there anything you'd like to talk about from your setup side before we get going?
Not really. We did a couple little setup things. So in case you don't know what Xsens is, it's a full inertial-based motion capture system. So it doesn't require cameras. It's all just sensors being driven by your body in the suit. Means no occlusion, and it's portable, so it's pretty ideal for this setup here to just get it going. Before we started talking, I already calibrated Sydney and Andrew. I saved their calibrations, and so we're pretty much ready to go. I'm just going to take the cues from Mike, and I'll take the shot list here. I already have a destination folder where I'm going to record everything. Once it records, it will record a single file for the whole main scene, and then it will record a file for each character. At the end of this, if you guys want, I'll share all the takes recorded. I'll also put them through our render engine we call HD reprocessing, and then I'll give you FBX exports so you can work with this data.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so keep an eye on the Xsens Twitter and the Anim State Twitter, and once all of this stuff gets out there, this will be free and available for everyone to play with and use the data as they want and experiment and play and show us how you bring Buck and Ziggy to life. So without further ado, we're going to switch to the camera stuff and get going here on the shot list. All right, so first off, everyone keep me honest. We've got about a half an hour, I think, 25 minutes, and then we'll start taking suggestions from Twitch chat. God help us. And we'll go. So one of the first things that I like to do is sort of do just a test shot right up front to say, let's just get you into character, right? This isn't going to be actually necessarily anything that is specifically being asked for by the game design or by any of the stuff you're shooting, but it gives both you a chance to sort of find what you think the posture is and all of that stuff. So we'll do the first shot, get into character, Buck, Mr. Magoo, Amy Santiago, and Leslie Nope for Ziggy, okay? And?
All right, the first thing we need to do is a heel touch. So put your right heel to your right heel. Perfect.
Cool. And action. So you can be standing in place. Feel free to walk around. Think of how you might greet each other when you see each other. All right, you see a perp? Cool. All right, you guys feeling pretty comfortable? Feeling in the headspace? All right, so we'll cut on that one, and let's actually let's start capturing the stuff. All right, so it's not that I'm being a terrible human being on my phone the whole time. It's that I've got the shot list on my phone. What's nice sometimes about using a digital shot list is that if you've got it on a Google Doc and you're streaming the session back to your team, they can see and add notes into the doc in real time. You can keep notes, and you can have multiple people sort of updating that dock at once, right? That's what we're doing here. So let's start with default idle. All right, and so actors ready.
Ready.
All right, and action. So just hold it in place for a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Look around. We just want that nice, good loop for a while. All right, now do that look around, the classic game look around the space. And then the classic, give me a stretch. All right, and then back into the idle pose. All right, and cut. Fantastic. All right, so now at that point, right, with an idle, like we've shot the idle, we know what the pose is. That's the one that everything is largely going to be returning to. So it's important that both, as the animator, you remember that stuff, that you say, okay, what was the feet facing? Let's make sure that, because sometimes when you get into the heat of an action, it's easy for you guys to forget, it's easy for us to forget. So it's something good to keep in mind. All right, so I feel like we're pretty good with the idle. Is there anything else you guys really feel like you want to hit more with that before we start digging into some other actions?
I'm pretty good.
You feel good? You feel comfortable in that pose?
Yeah, I think he's good. I think he's in a good spot.
Buck's figured out? You're one with Buck? Fantastic.
It feels right.
It feels right? Good. Okay. All right, so let's do so we're going to skip a little bit on the shot list because I'm terrible that way. But I feel like let's get the walk first, right? Before we get to the jump, let's try and get some of the normal ground locomotion stuff. So I'm going to get out of the way. And I think you guys can go back to about where the balloons are so we can get a decent enough cycle. All right, actors ready?
Mocap's ready.
Excellent. All right, so start in your idle pose. A second. And then you're going to walk to the white, stop, turn around, and then come back, stop. And then that'll make sure that we also have the proper turn to face stuff built into this data, right? All right, so let's go one more time. Actors ready?
Mocap's ready.
Excellent. All right, get in that idle pose and action. All right, stop, left shoulder turn. Right shoulder turn. Excellent. And cut. All right, good to go. So we've got our walk. We've got some walk starts, some walk stops. We've got some turns as well. So we've got a good bit of data there that we can start cutting up to get into our locomotion system. So let's do a run now. We're going to do the same thing. There's a good chance that the run is going to go past the table. Like, go for it. So you might lose some of it. Twitch, sorry about that. But the data will still be captured, so we'll be able to see it that way. So, actors ready for run?
Motion capture's ready.
All right. Let's get in that idle pose. And now this is just going to be a default run, not necessarily any hurry or anything. This is just the default run. All right?
You want to turn and come back same as we did?
Yep, same as you did before. Yep. And action. All right, and cut. That was good. I liked it. Like already, I'm in my head thinking about like which character am I going to play? Is this a fun co-op game where I get to be running next to my partner? Like I loved it. That was good. Yeah, the personality, and it was, I loved it. All right, so we've got idling, walking, running. Let's get a jump, right? So we're going to do, yeah, good luck. Don't throw it out your hip. So do a jump in place first, and then do a little bit of like a run hop as well. That way we can get the standing jump and the forward jump.
Like a step in.
Yep, yeah. So just a step and then, yep. All right, so actors ready?
Mocap's ready.
All right, and action, jump in place. All right, let's see another one. Okay, and now give me the forward jump. Okay, turn around and give me another jump back. And hit your idle pose, Sydney. All right, one more time, and then make sure we hit the idle pose. So go ahead, turn around. Give me one more forward jump. And action. All right, cool, cut. All right, so we're pretty much at the point now where we can just cut all that data up, just give that to Ashton and Marion, and we would have our game. So now you guys got to tackle each other. No, we're not tackling. There's no. So, but that does bring up an important point, right? So we don't have crash mats here. We don't have a padded floor. We don't have a stunt coordinator. We don't have anyone here with medical expertise. We do have a stunt coordinator, but we're not gonna bring him in yet. So be aware of what you're shooting, what your space is. Don't hurt your actors. That's a terrible thing to do. So we're not going to be doing any crazy contact ground stuff or anything like that. Next up, so we've got our normal locomotion in the world stuff. We want to start shooting stuff for our investigation mechanic. So essentially, the idea is you come into a scene, right, and we're going to start investigating, right? As the player, I can go up to and maybe see some different stuff on the ground and in the world, and this is sort of the sleuthy part of what the gameplay would be. All right, so first up, we're going to be investigating an element in the scene. So this is the shot investigate scene 01. The idea here is that we're going to start generic first, and then we can start getting a little bit more specific to maybe different types of things you're investigating. But first is you come into a scene, somebody said something happened here, right? Maybe there's an item on the ground. It's not necessarily a gruesome scene. It's not an incredibly exciting scene or an incredibly boring scene that you're like sad you have to be there for. Just imagine that this is an investigation scene that somebody called you in and you're gonna sleuth. So what we're gonna want is start in your idle. You're gonna move forward a couple steps as you maybe notice something, and then that investigate in the space. Try to more or less stay within the same location. You don't have to be planted down. You can shuffle a little bit, but.
Do you want as far as what we're investigating at certain levels? Straight on ground level?
Let's do on the ground first, and then, because we know there will always be a ground plane, and then we can start worrying about, hey, did we talk?
Ready.
All right, so let's get you into that idle, and action. And back up into idle. All right, now cut. So I feel like that's a pretty good, just anything on the ground sort of thing. Let's have you come up to this time. Again, go down into it. And then once you look at it, realize that it's actually something really gross. All right, and then give us your reaction to that. And from the reaction, then go back into your idle pose. Okay? All right, so we're going to update this. So this will be investigate scene 02.
Yep.
Cool. And actors ready?
Motion capture's ready.
Awesome. And action. All right, do one where maybe, A-Ray, you're a little bit more contemplative about not being grossed out by it. And Ziggy, let's see one where you're like aghast that anyone would even insult you with that sort of thing. All right, so we'll just go ahead and pick it up. In action. All right, and cut. All right, good. So we got that one. Now let's do something where you realize that what it is isn't actually anything bad, and you're kind of chuckling to yourself because maybe you thought it was a serious thing. Or the reaction is like, oh, I can't believe I fell for that, right? Is essentially what we're looking for. So let's do another take on that one.
All right, this is take 3 now.
Take 3, yes, thank you. And actors ready?
Mocap ready.
And action. All right, and cut. Cool. So now we've got a couple different reactions to when you saw the thing on the ground, and we're good to go. Okay, so next one is that we're going to be investigating a suspect, right? So this will be a character in the scene. We're gonna do it a couple different times. So one time, first we'll have you be the suspect, Sydney, and you'll be Buck, as only you can be, and so we'll start it out again. Start in your idle, walk on up, and just investigate. And you can kind of go into just the fake conversation-y sort of thing. Something that's kind of fun, instead of just pantomiming a conversation, actually have a random conversation. A-Ray knows how to do this. It'll be good. Talk about whatever you want, but just, do it as Buck and do it as somebody. Now, you as a suspect, you're not feeling guilty. You're not feeling worried. You're not feeling angry. Any of that stuff. You're just a person that he's talking to right off the bat.
With this face-to-face?
Yep. Yeah. So do your face. So
Circles or anything around this?
Nope, just standing in spot, and we'll go from that.
And any character on top of that, or just random?
No, because this could just be random stranger. So again, we'll just start with sort of as base level as we can, and then we can always add in more data and update it as we go. Cool? All right, actors ready?
Ready.
All right. And action.
What? Back over there? Back? Thing untouched? I would not do that. I would not do that. That's pretty gross.
I think you did that.
Oh.
Who did that?
Guy over there.
That guy did that?
Yeah, that guy over there. I watched him do it. Wasn't me.
All right, back to idle. And cut. All right, so now we're going to do it again.
Just let me go forever.
I would. So now this time, again, we'll do the suspect, but you are feeling very defensive. You're feeling, it's seeming like you might be a little guilty here. All right? So do it again, and with guilt in mind. You don't necessarily know she's guilty because you're bumbling.
Okay.
So don't instantly go, I did it, right? Like, kind of, you could have the exact same interaction, in all honesty. Like, I don't think Buck would necessarily be the brightest one to pick it up.
His process.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, so we'll do shot 2, take 2 of this.
Yep.
Fantastic. Actors ready?
Mocap ready.
And action.
That? never. How dare you even suggest that?
Calm
I'm
down.
flabbergasted.
Asking a question.
Flabbergasted.
Well,
Right here.
I was flabbergasted when I picked it up. The smell of it. It was
Gross.
It was awful.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I would never.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, I feel really
I don't know why
uncomfortable
anyone
that
would
you
ever
even
do
suggest that.
I know.
Yeah, right? That's
See, I'm
terrible.
on your side. I'm on your
I'm
side.
so glad. Thank you. Oh, thank you, sir. I would never. I'm glad. I bet it was someone else. You know, not me. No,
Finally
I would
pick up on the fact you think it's her.
That sounds like something a guilty person would say.
I'm not guilty. It wasn't me. I would never do that.
All right, and
You do it.
back to idle. And action.
Excuse me, sir. I just noticed that there was a crime committed here, and I was wondering if you had any information about said crime.
No, I don't know anything about it.
Are
I think
you
it was,
sure?
No, there was some dudes over there later. I think they probably did it.
Over there? Yeah? It was them? Did you see anything, though? What makes you think it was them?
I didn't see anything.
Nothing?
Don't say that I saw anything. Like, that's not how I roll. That's not who I am.
That's not so suspicious.
No, it's not suspicious. I'm just not. That's not who
Okay,
I am.
okay.
All right.
I'm sorry, sir.
All
I'm
right.
sorry. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Back to idle. And cut. All right, so now let's do it again. Hostile witness. All right,
Hostile?
actors.
Did you say hostile?
Hostile witness. And actors ready?
Mocap ready. This is take 4, right?
Yes, this is take 4. This is why it's great to have a technician, because I'm just totally in the mindset of this, and I'm terrible at remembering that. So thankfully, Chris keeps me honest. All right, and action.
Excuse me, sir.
What?
There was a crime committed here recently.
I didn't do it.
wanted-
I didn't do it.
Let me
I didn't do
explain to you
anything.
what the
Why
crime was.
are you trying to
Excuse
act like
me.
I did it?
I'm
I
not
didn't do it.
suggesting anything, but you're acting very
I'm
suspicious
just
right
standing-
now.
I'm just standing
Now,
there.
sir,
Don't point your
I'm
finger.
going to point my finger at you,
No,
sir.
I didn't do anything.
Because I'm doing an investigation here.
I don't want to talk about it.
Excuse
I don't
me.
wanna talk
You
about
are inhibiting my investigation.
You're
right
inhibiting my good day. I was having a good day. You come over here, you're going to tell
I'm
me
so
that
sorry,
I
sir.
took
I am
that
so
on,
sorry.
on the floor right there.
I didn't mean to insinuate
I
that you
didn't
were
do
that
it.
kind
All
of
right.
person. I'm sorry.
And back to idle. And cut. All right, so we're just going to get one more thing. So we've got the investigation system, we've got locomotion. Now what happens if they're hostile? Well, unfortunately, it's a video game, so that means you'll probably punch each other. So we're just going to get some 3-hit combos from both of you. Again, though, we'll have start out as the witness that was hostile. So as he is doing whatever his 3-hit combo is, just react to it, right? So that way then we can get those reactions to that. All right, so 3-hit combo, the way that we're gonna shoot it is do the first attack on its own, right? And then come back to your idle. And then do 1, 2, and then back into idle. And then 1, 2, 3, back into idle. And then what that'll do is that'll make sure that we get each one of those button presses so that if you only choose to do 1 or 2 attacks of the combo, you've got all the necessary data for all that, right? So what we'll do is we'll have you stand apart, not actually going to hit anybody, and just, play hit. So this is going to be Buck Combat Attack Combo 01. All right, so before we start shooting, let's see what you're kind of thinking of for a 3-hit combo.
I was just going to go like traditional, kind of like old school boxing.
Yeah.
And the first one's just going to be like a little jab, and the next one's going to
Okay.
Do you want it to move?
That seemed pretty capable,
Yeah.
right? Like, I would imagine maybe there was a point where Buck was like a good scrapper.
He doesn't have. You think he has a mean right cross, like one right cross in him? Everything else
Well,
would be kind of like.
Well, I don't know. I think it would be maybe he was a boxer when he was younger,
Okay.
but he's kind of let himself go.
Okay.
And you were snapping and coming back, and it
Yeah.
felt pretty good. But I think it would be snap and then, right? Like because before you were this,
Yeah.
right? And you couldn't hardly walk.
Right.
We need to make sure that carries through in the way that you're doing everything, right?
Okay.
So we don't want to have all of a sudden Captain America when we had.
A little less balance.
A little less balance, yeah. So let's just see it one time. Yep. All right, and now with each one, let's have you actually, when you do it, step forward into it. So we've got a pretty big space. We'll try to make sure that you're clear of stuff. You might want to go that way a little bit more so you're not at the tables.
Just right through the face.
Do you want the person being hit to come back to that person?
Yeah. Hit it and hold it and then come back. Yep.
Backhand slap and then punch you in the face. And then this one's just gonna be like a yeah.
Okay.
Does that work? Does that work for you?
Yeah. Okay. So let's do 1 and then 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3.
So do the first one and then find idle,
Yep.
and then
Do the
do
1,
in
2.
a row, find idle. And
Yep.
3 in a row.
Exactly.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. You guys got your distance. Actors ready. Buck attack combo 1.
Ready.
And actors. All right, and cut. Cool. Now let's do the reverse. So now you are the suspect, the hostile one. And now, how would Ziggy do a 3-hit combo?
Do you want me in here?
Yeah, just hold the same one, yeah?
Jab. Jab. Cross. Jab. Cross. Stomach.
It's good. And also remember, Ziggy's that odd, so it's like, I imagine at the point where Leslie Knope would punch somebody, there would be this wild feeling of like excitement and almost like, oh no, I can't believe I let myself do that. But I think the excitement would come first. Yeah. Oh, right? Like, so go ahead, let yourself have that fun with it again. Like, let's make sure that you're staying within that. All right, so let's see it one more time. Keep your. This will be your combat idol. So yeah.
You don't want me to come back to this. Just start.
Let's do one without you doing that. Yeah, let's just leave it. Yeah, you're both sort of in combat idols now. Cool. All right, let's shoot it. All right, so this will be Ziggy combat attack combo 01. And actors ready?
All right, ready.
And action. One more time, step into it, step forward. Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's do one more 3, but instead of backing away, do the, yeah, I got you. Okay. With each hit, be like, yeah, get excited about it, yeah.
Getting too close to you too.
All right, and cut. All right, so we've got a pretty good foundation for the stuff we want. That's pretty much all the priority 1 stuff that was on the shot list. So let's see what Twitch chat would like to have recorded. We'll do about 5 minutes worth of, actually, let me just check real quick. Does anyone have the schedule up to let me know how we're doing on time? Well, we're 3 minutes? We've got 3 minutes. Okay, so we're going to go quick here. Mocap suggestions. Loki up in steps.
Trying not to drop an armful of hedgehogs.
All right, so we're gonna do 2. We're gonna do that one, and I also like the most dangerous chicken dance.
I saw that over.
Yeah. All right. So let's do the most dangerous victory or chicken dance first. So this will be dangerous chicken dance 01.
These are
As characters, yeah. Because we're gonna use. We'll assume that this is your taunt animations. All right, and actors ready?
Mocap ready?
All right, and let's get you into idle pose. And action. All right, cool, and cut. That was all right.
like, I'm coming for you, Bubba.
All right, and now what was it? So trying not to drop an armful of hedgehogs. So we're just gonna call this carry 01. So apparently,
Are the hedgehogs alive?
well, you can tell me that.
It's very important that we know.
Apparently, that poor person that you beat up, it wasn't theirs, it was the hedgehogs. The hedgehog left the mess. You've now caught the hedgehogs. Or hedgehogs. I guess it's hedgehogs, it's plural. So we found the culprit, it was hedgehogs. So now you've got to carry the hedgehogs back. So we're going to do, essentially let's do this like the walk, where we're going to have you holding them in place, whatever you got to do. Forward, stop, turn, back, turn, idle, done. And then we'll have the whole hedgehog movement loop. Yep. All right. So yeah, left shoulder first, and then right shoulder on the turns. All right. Actors ready?
Ready?
All right. And to idle. All right. Yep. So you're already holding these. You're already holding these hedgehogs, dead, alive. You've already figured out in your head what they are. All right. And wow, they're either not moving a lot. They're all dead. Apparently, it was a bunch of dead hedgehogs. There we go. I like that. Let's get some motion in there. All right, and let's see a walk action. All right, and stop, turn. Turn. All right, hold it a little bit, and cut. All right, fantastic. Good luck making use of that data.
I know. I hope that ends up somewhere.
All right, let's hear a round of applause for A-Ray and Sydney. That was awesome. All right, so from our side, we're good. I know Chris wanted to go over a little bit of, do you want to do a little setup stuff, or you're good on your side for...
I mean, for those who grab the data, I don't know if you saw, but when I stop the recording, there's a little comment dialog that pops up. So to help you see what happened in the take, I put some comments here and there to help sort it. So when you go to load the file, you just add that column, and then it will show the comment I wrote. Also, during a recording, I would hit a little marker. So for those attack scenes with the 3 jabs, when you load the file, you can look for the marker in the timeline and then be able to see where the data starts and stops.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right. Well, yeah. So keep an eye on the Xsens Twitter, on the Anim State Twitter. We'll get this data available. We'll also link to the shot list so that you have that for reference. And this was a lot of fun. There's a reason you like doing it all day long and not just for like 45 minutes. But so yeah, thanks a lot for watching. We're going to go now to another interview.